This is going to be a video review of the Kuat Transfer 3 bike rack. This will be the second Kuat rack that I've owned. The first was the Sherpa, which was a great rack except for the locks. The locks were always getting rusty and I could never get them off. I couldn't get the key in the lock to remove the lock. So I ended up having to cut the lock off, not once but twice. Kuat was actually very good with customer service and sent me a brand new lock, which then rusted on. And so I couldn't get it off, and I had to cut that one off also. I ended up buying the Kuat Transfer 3 because it doesn't come with any locks. If I need to lock the bike on, I'll just lock it to the trailer hitch. I'm just going to use regular locks like this, cable locks, and hook them onto the little loops in the rack, not the rack, hitch. Another reason I'm not going with the Kuat Sherpa is I got a ticket for having my license plate obstructed, which is really bullshit, but that's what happened. So I'm hoping this one does not obstruct the license plate. And at this angle, it does not. However, at a little taller angle, it does. The last time I bought a Kuat rack, I bought it from a local bike shop and they gave it to me in the box and I had to assemble it myself. And I didn't think much about that, but the amount of assembly to a Kuat rack is quite substantial. And what I ended up doing this time was I bought the rack from Plains Bike and Ski in Pittsfield, Mass. And they offer free assembly, which I'm sure took them quite a while because this is all the assembly. And I really don't know why anyone would buy this particular rack online because there is substantial amount of assembly. And if your local bike shop will build it for you, you should definitely go to them. So one nice thing is you can use your foot to just kick on the release and release the rack and get it ready for putting bikes on. I tried it with our two road bikes and everything fit really, really well. So these bikes are on there and this is pretty awesome. There's nothing hitting. A lot of times your seat hits your handlebars. And here the bikes are so far spaced apart that the seats aren't even close to lining up with the handlebars. So that's pretty awesome. Now I'm going to go get a mountain bike and see how that fits on here. The rack is quite solid on the car. I am shaking the whole car. The bikes seem to be pretty secure also. The bikes are pretty secure. That looks like a real good setup. The handlebars and the seat are well spaced apart. Same here. You can't tell because I got the bar mitt on there, but that's where the handlebar is and the seat's way far forward of it. So the rack is supposed to fold down if you kick this little lever. And then we'll see if I can get at the stuff in the back of my car with the bike still on the rack. So I can lift the tailgate up, no problem, and I can lift the tailgate down, but it does hit the rack and doesn't go completely down. So now I'll try it with 3 mountain bikes on. So there are 3 bikes on the rack. So these handlebars do overlap and are touching, which I don't like. I'm not sure what I could do about that. The other thing is, I don't like that this is touching the fork leg. And I don't know if it's because these are touching that I can't push this over further. So with the outside bike off, I still don't get enough clearance for the fork to not touch here. This is a boost fork. The other 2 forks are not boost. It's not ever going to not touch here. So I borrowed my friend's 29er and I hooked that up on the rack and it's boost in the front also, but his arch is in the front of the fork. My arch on the Manitou is in the back. And so this rests on the arch and he says that on his rack he has the same issue and I think he has a Thule and it's rubbed the paint totally off the fork, but it's not damaging it. Whereas on the Manitou, if the paint got rubbed off this, I think it would be quite damaging to the fork. So I would not recommend the Kuat Transfer 3 for boost forks. The tray for the front tire looks to be just barely more than 4 inches, maybe 4 1/16 or something. But the back one is only like 3 inches. Maybe 3 1/4 at the most. So I don't think this would work very well for a fat bike. I could be wrong, I don't have a fat bike, but if you have 4-inch tires, I'd be very skeptical about buying this rack. Really makes me wonder what the designers of these racks are thinking. You know, I don't have particularly wide handlebars. I have, you know, just a standard boost fork on the front there. Boost and wide handlebars are the way to go. I do appreciate that they've staggered the seats so much that the seat hitting the handlebars isn't a problem, but with 3 bikes on here, unless one's a road bike, I think you're going to have trouble. Anyway, thanks for watching.